Hey guys, I'm Grant and I'm here with Selena Nix. We're with Century 21 Community Realty out of, well, we have a Salty office, we also have a Clarksville office, but we're actually here at my listing at 478 Chattahoochee Glen Road here in beautiful Clarksville. We're actually overlooking the Chattahoochee River right now, so we'll show you that here in just a little bit. But today we're going to be going over, what are we going to go over today, Selena?
We are going to try to figure out what this market looks like and why consumers are thinking, is this a good time to sell or a bad time to sell? But if you'll hang with us to the end of this, you will get a better idea if this is a good time for you to be in the market buying or selling. Okay, so we're just going to talk about, just kind of set the stage today about how the market does feel a little different. And sometimes, that looks or feels different if you're a seller versus if you're a buyer, or if you're an agent like us, because we're looking at the data different than probably the basic, client would be. So, Grant, what do you think about that? Like, explain to the audience exactly what we're seeing and how we've come to realize that this market is where it's at.
Yeah, so what I'm noticing is that average days on market is up compared, even this month compared to this month last year. We're also seeing homes stagnate a little longer. And that is showing in the data, but it's actually worse than what the data shows. And what I mean by that, Selena, is that basically those numbers are only accounting for homes that have sold.
That's right.
So, there's going to be withdrawn listings or expired listings, which, if you don't know what that is, that those are listings that basically the sellers put on the market with an agent and then it sat for 6 months and didn't sell successfully. So it either expired by lapsing the contract or they just decided themselves to pull it off the market. So that's not accounting for all of those expired listings,
Right.
and that data, because like I said, it's really only talking to homes that have truly sold, and how long that they sat on the market
Until
on
they were
average.
marked sold.
Yeah,
Correct.
so-
or under contract, till they were
So-
marked under contract.
I guess what I would say is sellers, they're feeling it more so than buyers. I think that there's probably about one buyer for every 2 or 3 homes available right now in Habersham and White County. Obviously different price brackets are different,
Yes.
but that's, like I said, sellers are definitely feeling it. What do you think, Selena? Does that kind of align with what you would think is going on?
Definitely. We both had sellers who were expecting their home maybe to sell a little quicker. But right now, the reality of it is, it's still a good time to sell, and spring is always a great time to list and have your home on the market. Everything's green, everything looks alive. There's just more homes listed. So right now, buyers are just being more picky. They're going to be more selective. Things are not going under contract in 1 and 2 days, as we've seen in the past few years. That's really not happening as often. It does sometimes, depending on the price point and, home and location. Most of the time, homes are going to sit a little longer, and that's okay. That's more of a normalized market. This is not the frenzy anymore, and I think people kind of forget that.
Yeah.
But really, what we're experiencing is a normalized market. It is a great time to buy and sell. Sellers just have to be more patient, because buyers are going to be a little more picky, and there's more on the market to choose from, so they have that ability.
Yeah, what I've heard is showing fatigue. The sellers are getting 10 plus showings with no offers.
Right.
And that was kind of unheard of from the market we just came from.
For sure.
And buyers, they kind of have a right to be out shopping 10, 20, sometimes 30 houses to, find the ultimate one. And they are in a position of having a lot of leverage. And sellers have lost, a little bit of that leverage over the past year for sure, when it comes to the negotiating side. So that's just some of the things.
Yeah, definitely here in White and Habersham County, we're definitely seeing, like I said, more of a normalized market, but more to the buyer's advantage at this point, obviously. But if if you're in the market and you are a buyer and you're ready to look, there's a lot of great options out there. So it's a great time.
So we just discussed that homes are sitting longer this year, now versus last year.
Right.
But what would you say would be some of the reasons that some homes are sitting longer than others right now? Because you mentioned that some homes sell, pretty quick when they hit the market and they just get moved. But others are just kind of sticking and not really moving much. What would you kind of say that the reason for that is?
So I think you and I could both speak to this, working with buyers and sellers, that, some homes are going to sell quickly, a little more quickly anyway than others, based on condition and price. Right now, that's the two biggest factors. If you've got two homes that are close in the same price, close in the same square footage, but one is in much better condition, obviously that's a no-brainer. People want to deal with less. So condition is huge, and sometimes to homeowners, they don't want to fix every little knick-knack, but sometimes those little bitty things that you can do that are not huge deals pay off very much in the long run, because it could sell your house a lot quicker. And then price, price right now has got to be right for the buyers and the sellers. This is, again, not the frenzy where things are selling way above, what their probable value was at the time. Again, a normalized market, so prices have to be competitive. If you do not have the correct pricing on a home, it may sit there longer than you want it to. And at the end of the day, whether sellers want to believe it or not, price will overcome almost every objective. So if the condition's not up to par, price is going to obviously help that. If location is maybe not as good as another, price is going to overcome that. So the price points are very important right now, and buyers know that, and sellers have to come to terms with what's the right price to sell their home if they want to sell it in a decent amount of time.
So Selena, let's say that a viewer is watching this video right now and they're wondering what their home might could sell for and what might be a good price to hit the market at. First of all, how important would you say it is for that viewer to price their home accurately from the start in the get-go?
Right.
And also, how would you guide them through how to price, in today's market with what you just discussed?
Right. So pricing is very important out of the gate, and at the end of the day, the homeowners have the say because it is their home. But that's what we're here to do, is help you guide you and try to figure out what is the true price point to where you should be. And we will do a CMA. We'll pull a lot of comps. We'll try to figure out what has sold in your surrounding area, in your neighborhood, in general, depending on what your home is. Try to get some very good comparables, and then set that price at a competitive rate. Because if you don't have the price right, and sellers' favorite thing to say is, well, we'll try it at this, which sometimes is not the right approach. Because if you try too high and it sits there, and then they decide 2 months later to drop the price, we're seeing a lot of price adjustments right now, a lot of price improvements, which is great, but there again, it sat longer, and so then buyers automatically feel they have even more buying power.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you set the price right the first time, and you know that you're where you need to be, you will attract probably more offers that are going to be in the realm that you want to see them to be in.
I see. So pricing at the get-go is of key importance.
Very much so.
What would you say as far as like a marketing strategy? Do you think that has any play in today's market as far as, I know that price definitely sounds, and I agree that it is very important in today's market. In a lot of cases, you're actually going to want to price probably a little bit under that fair market value so that it is appealing, especially when, you're having a buyer walk through 10, 15 different homes before making a single offer. But as far as like displaying it online, like what are some of the things that you think the viewer should maybe consider?
So, as a seller, there again, the condition, if you can get things in order before you ever list, it's going to pay off in the long run. Because if you don't take attention to those small things, sellers, to you it's not a big deal, but to a buyer it could be a bigger deal, even if it's something mediocre. So marketing from getting your house in order right up front, getting everything taken care of, as far as getting it out there to the world. There again, once that listing goes live on the MLS, it's going to be pushed to all these websites to where anyone in the world can see it, and you want to present the best as you possibly can from the get-go.
Right.
So
okay. And then, sorry, you said CMA earlier. I just want to make sure the audience knows what that is. Can you describe what a CMA is for them?
Yes. So like a comparative market analysis. Okay. So that would compare different homes in the same area, with price, square footage, amenities, things like that. So anything that's a true comparable, we're just going to be comparing those, almost side by side in a report that explains how we come up with a price, and to get that smart pricing so that we are correct out of the gate. That's just important to show the different aspects, and every home is different, so no two are the same.
Yeah.
Even if the homes are the exact same house plan, they're sitting on a different lot, different land. And so even that little bit of difference is going to make a difference in price, because no two lots are the same. And, that could mean the difference in a few $1,000s to a lot. Just depends.
So wait, so you mean a Zestimate isn't their home's value?
Oh, yes, I know. All of our friends on the internet, they see the Zestimates and the, all the different price points that a lot of the websites pull, and they are pulling from different information data, but they're looking at it as a whole. They're not looking at it as an individual home compared to another individual home, to where they've not been through these, they've not experienced them in person.
Through it, yeah.
And
they
the
don't know all
walkthrough
the
is
unique
different.
Features.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that goes back to condition, because two homes sitting that could be in the same price point, very close to the same square footage, the Zestimate could look similar or very close, but when you go in, one's condition could be very different than the other, or one's just had a new roof, the other one's needs a new roof. Those kind of
or
big ticket items.
Basement, and it just doesn't even know about that at all.
Correct.
Because it hasn't been updated.
That's right.
So yeah, a Zestimate, that's like a rule of thumb, but it's by no means an exact, because that stuff we get, pretty commonly in our world.
Okay, Grant, so to wrap it up today, what do you think then? Is this really a good time to buy or sell in Northeast Georgia?
I think it's a great time to do both. As we were discussing to begin with this video, it's a pretty even playing field. Little bit more power on the buying side right now. So if you're looking to relocate, or if you're looking to downsize or even upsize, I think this is a great year to achieve that goal, because, if you have that right plan in place to sell your current home, and you price it right, and you have the right marketing plan in place, then I think you're set up for success in 2026, because you'll be having a lot of power on the buying side. Inventory, I think, will keep stacking for the rest of the year, and it'll get bigger and bigger, which will only help buyers. So I think right now, especially if you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, I think right now is the time to list. Not only is it the spring selling season, but inventory is going to keep picking up, which will give you just a little bit less power as a seller.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Okay, I agree. So yes, if you need information on buying or selling, or you want to check out Grant's listing, all the information will be listed below.
And also our contact details, mine and Selena's, our phone number and all that good stuff, brokerage info, will be in the description below. So check that out, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay.